Welcome traders, this is Mike Hamilton, and I have done an extensive scan through the daily and weekly charts with indices, the Forex, and I've done a stock scan. What I want to share with you is in my view on what to expect for this week ahead of us. Before I do that, a few things to note. It's a very, very busy week for data. We have US GDP and FOMC on Wednesday, so Fed announcement basically, with ECB monthly bulletin on Thursday. We have US during the rest of the week, early part of the week, they have US house data, consumer confidence, and we have a huge expectation for New Zealand trade balance. There's all sorts of things going on in this market. On top of that, we've got UK election just a week and a half away. We have the Greek issue, which is still stumbling along, which is a big, big issue for the market. And I'm surprised the press and the markets are behaving like this at the moment. And the markets are basically pricing in a solution to the Greek situation on the basis that some progress has been made, but there are major issues to be resolved, and Greece is running out of money very, very fast. This could linger on into the back end of the summer, such is the predicament and the situation and so on. But let's just concentrate on the charts. Let's just let the charts come to us, let the charts tell us what they want to do. So here we've got the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is just blasting off. Of all the markets out there, Nasdaq is streaks ahead. I mean, it has a fantastic week. So you could argue the markets are very, very bullish. Contrast that to the DAX. The DAX is got a stopping bar just under this 161 extension on the weekly chart, based on this price action with a range from December 07 highs to March 03 lows. If that's quite an out of date, well, it's not out of date, it's got a distant fib ratio. So let's go back to something that's more up to date, and let's look at this ratio from the 2011 lows to last summer's highs, and that seems more appropriate. And you can see if this fibs is relevant because back in October, when the market's reversed, the DAX picked up on this fib level here, dipped underneath it to support, threw down a hammer on a weekly chart, and has been running very substantially until we hit a very big seller's bar 2 weeks back, and now we've got a stopping bar. But if this fibs is one they are using, we could be heading for 13,200 or thereabouts, if we can hold this level here and start breaking 12,400. On the daily, put all the news, put all the facts and fundamentals aside for one moment and just look at the charts only. What the charts are telling you is this is a lovely move. One big wave, two big waves, three waves. So this is an A and B wave correction at the moment, and this could, if this market is bullish, this is a C wave move, which could take us up to these levels here. The crucial thing is going to be how we handle these levels in the early part of the week. If at some stage during Monday we break 11,680, this market is toast. We could come all the way down to anywhere around this level, from 10,665 to these support areas in the middle here. So it's about, this is the line of fire, or fire line as I like to call it, which is sitting just under Thursday's low. And so if we mark this resistance level here and mark Friday's range, let's mark Thursday's high. If we treat Thursday's range as a sort of medium, whichever way we close it outside, that to me is the direction for the coming weeks. Now bear in mind we are into May, back end of the week. Selling may go away. Well, yeah, that can happen. It doesn't always follow suit, but it is a very high probability saying. However, we're not in May yet. We're close to it, and these markets, the Nasdaq, is suggesting that this market could just blow away. All right, so let's just look at the Dow. The Dow is sitting, and I did a video a week and a half ago suggesting that if we whereas there's lots of doom and gloom in the markets, I'm suggesting that we're in this apex, we fish around this apex, and if we closed above 18,100, then we're off to the races. Now the Nasdaq's already done that, so can the Dow do this? Certainly on the evidence of buyer's bar last week, there is still that bit of potential. But close underneath 18,000, a big number, and that's toast. Okay, so we have to stay bullish until we get a reading from the DAX and the Dow. So where does that leave the markets? That leaves the US dollar, weak to sideways, US dollar CAD that is. And I've got US GDP on Wednesday with FOMC. So we're just going to have to take this one day at a time, as there's so much data coming out, and then see where this leaves us. But at the moment, that's a hammer under the fib level. So close on Monday above 192, and that can at least retest this major resistance level at 124. It's had 2 weeks of lower closes, but we're just clinging on to that. So let's look at that one. The US dollar yen has been my nemesis over the last couple of weeks, so I am steering clear. We had a good first half of the week, and then on Friday it looked to me as if the level up here was holding on 930. It didn't, it failed. So I gave back some profits on that one. I made a profit, but I gave back about a third of my profits. Okay, and then I stood away. Actually, no, I got a stop out, didn't I? I got a very small stop out late in the afternoon. I apologise. I did get back into that one. I got a stop out. Let's just look at this Nasdaq, the New Zealand dollar, because we are expecting a huge trade balance surplus on Tuesday. Now that's a hammer on the 55 EMA here, with a weak close into on the weekly chart. But if we come into 75-60 area and hold, I generally don't like charts that trade between 50 and 55 and the 200. That one's pushed up into the 200 and then dropped down and found some support on Friday. So we'll come back to that, but it could be that if we see it pull back into 75, 70, 75, 50, if it does drop that low, that could get bought and could end the week up there at the 80 mark. So that one. On the pound on Friday, this was one of the best performing pairs. Pound US, so we're right up into this weekly fib area if you look at the latest range of the fibs. So 150.50, or obviously 150 if you see it, and that's asking quite a lot. So we would need to see some weakness into Monday to get that. But I mean, generally speaking, with a weak dollar and strong pound and euro, I'd expect the indices to keep pushing up. Generally speaking, the relationship with the dollar and the US indices is divergent. So strong 2 weeks performance on the pound US from 146 up there to 152 nearly. So let's just see if we can get 150.80 is a major line in the sand. So let's alarm that and then see if we can get as low as that. Pound New Zealand had a fantastic week. Now, I'm just going to back off of that one because at least for Tuesday, because this one could just roll over if that trade balance on the New Zealand dollar comes in as expected. Pound yen performed well. I've been showing you this weekly box for the last few weeks. So 180.40 is a major support from Wednesday's high and Thursday's open. Let's see if that it'd be great if I can drop lower, but let's see. But a good bullish close, and the pound yen tends to favour bullish indices, which of course we seem to have at the moment. Pound Aussie dollar, the fact we're holding 193 is extremely bullish. We closed higher on Friday, after a weekday on Thursday, and this weekly chart has had 2 weeks of. So I'm going to step aside because it's trapped in a range, got a lot of very localised resistance just above it. So I'm going to step aside and see how that one's going to perform into Monday and then make a decision. But potentially a pullback to 193 area could see us break out of this 195 and start to push higher. Euro had a good week. There's a lot of Euro data on Thursday. Huge amount. Inflation. We have the ECB bulletin on Thursday, so there's a lot going on Thursday. With the Greek issue, I'm just expecting this to pull back to about the 750 area and then just range, but it's 2 weeks of buying. If we just push into this resistance and close lower on Monday, that could give us a reversal bar. We'll see us rotate back to the downtrend. But 2 weeks of buying, we're above the trend line, so sitting tight and just watching what that wants to do. Euro yen sitting right underneath that resistance. The other one I'm really interested in is CAD yen. I'm very keen on a pullback in the CAD. And that saw a lot of selling on Friday. In fact, that is a potential reversal signal. New high, closed below next day. But what I'm looking for is a pullback to 96. You can see on this weekly chart we hit the fibs level, but we closed higher. So if we see 96, 96.50, I'll see if that's going to hold and then buy that. So what would I classify as my favourite chart? Let me just look at this one first. Aussie, New Zealand. That's had a good 3 days pushing up into that level off of those lows. But sit tight and I'll just keep an eye on that one and report back. Aussie CAD was an interesting one. That's got a hammer on the weekly, but tucked inside a box, so be careful. Right, so overall, my favourite charts and the best looking chart is the pound US and New Zealand US. So I'm going to look at those two very closely. Pound yen naturally follows, and that could do well. So those are the three main charts I like, and I'll report back on the others. Let's look at gold and oil, and I'll talk about how the room's going to operate next week and changes ahead. Gold, that's a good sign for pound Aussie dollar. So we're seeing a lot of commodity prices coming off with such low inflation around the developed world. So let's just keep an eye on that one. Will I short that? That is extremely low close. I mean, it's on this weekly bar on the left. That's a positive sell signal. I'm going to leave it purely for the fact that I don't want to look at too many charts. I've got a lot to do on stocks this coming week. On the oil, very, very hesitant bar on the weekly. I mean, pretty flat for the week. What would get me interested is a pullback to that 54.50, and I need to alarm that. I think it's bullish, but I think we need a good sharp pullback first to get the buyers into that. Because I think we're in this box for a long period, from January this year to when we broke out on April 15. So I want to pull back to see if we can get to the top of the box height of this first quarter box. Because I'm expecting, once you get a box like that, if it breaks out, it generally moves the height of the box that it came from. So that's why I've got that duplicate level up there to see if the oil can hit 64. All right, so markets are bullish. Overall, markets are bullish. The pound's performing well. We've got a lot of data to get through, so Traders Roundtable on Monday is going to be very busy and packed, so make sure you're logged in promptly, and don't forget that the room will open at 3 o'clock for some scanning on Monday. Skype room will be open earlier to see if there is to report on any moves in the early part of the day, but I generally won't be looking at my screens with any serious notion of taking trades until we get past the Dow open. Right, catch up with you soon, and look forward to seeing you in the room. Bye for now. you.